Nothing says fall like heat foiling, and today we are doing just that. We are going to create a fall leaf gift tag with a little heat foiling with the recipient's name. So this is our fourth and final episode of our Falling for Crafts series for 2025. Before we dive in, I just want to say, hey, I'm Christy here from Crafty Christy's Creations. I'm here to help you master your silhouette, and today we're doing some heat foiling. So just a little kind of up in front here, I'm going to be using the Cameo 5 with the Silhouette heat pens. However, this can also be done with any machine using a third-party heat tool like the foil quill and then using the adapters. And if you want to learn more about that, then you're going to love my heat foiling ebook. Here I walk you through how to set up heat foiling with the Silhouette heat pens, and then also using the foil quill, so you can do that with any of the machines. Not only that, but you will do 5 different craft projects with this book here, and I know you're going to love this. This is the golden ticket to getting you comfortable with heat foiling for any craft. We go through how to do things on cardstock, vinyl, ribbon, and leather. So if you're interested, you've got the QR code up here so you can grab this ebook for yourself and do some more heat foiling. But for now, let's jump into today's video. So Silhouette Studio, here we come. Okay, I have my leaf here, and we're just gonna start by setting up our leaf. Typically, gift tags are about 2 inches, so I'm gonna do this as 2 inches wide. And then I've got my ratio aspect locked, so it will just go ahead and keep those proportions what we need them to be. So that looks good there. I'm just gonna zoom in so we can get a better idea of what we're doing. And we need to create a little circle to put a string through for making our gift tag. So we'll come over here and grab our ellipse tool. If you hold down the shift key, it'll create you a perfect circle. And it doesn't have to be too big. I think that should work. I'm just gonna give it a color so we can better see where this is gonna go and how this is gonna look on here. And I like to put these up here towards the top. And then you just wanna make sure that you've got some room around the edges so you're not going to end up cutting anything, and you don't want it to fail, basically. So making sure you've got some room there will do that. That looks really good. So we're going to select both objects, rubber band select, come over to our modify panel and hit subtract. So now we've got our hole for the ribbon. And now what we're going to do is create our name. So grab your text tool. I'm going to do Tiffany. And then grab whatever font you want to use. So I'm gonna come over here to the font panel. Here we go. And I'm gonna use, scroll up here. I'm gonna do, let's see what these look like. I'm just gonna do Love Vibes. You know I'm on a Love Vibes kick. Something else I want to show you that's really cool. Down here, you can enter in the word that you're using. And when you do that, it'll show you what they're going to look like in each of these fonts. So you get a really good idea of what things are going to look like as you scroll through all your fonts. So there's a helpful tip for you. So I'm going to do this here. And then what we need to do is, since I'm going to be using the Silhouette heat pens, we're going to set things up here with our specialty tools, and then we can come over to this one here is the heat pen. And then I'm going to grab this straight line, and you can see at that spacing, it fills it in pretty good, but I'm going to turn that spacing all the way down. And now you can see all of that is filled in for my heat foiling. Now what we need to do is just size this down to put it where we want it. And this leaf's kind of a little bit tilted, so I want it to fit on here what I consider to be straight. So actually, instead of tilting, I'm going to undo. Let's tilt our leaf. This is our hole at the top. That's more what it's going to look like. So now I can shrink this down a bit. And I just like to fit it across right about there. You can also rubber band select both of those. And then I want to align them to the center. And that looks good there. So we have all this set up. Now we need to get things set up for our heat pen. So let's jump over to our Silhouette machine. So what I've got out here, I've got my thicker heat pen. This is gonna go into carriage 2. That's where your power port's at. So I'm just gonna get that put in there, tucked in really well. Oh, it helps if I turn my machine on. Okay, now that's tucked in. We'll just lock that into place. And then what we're using today, I've got this deco foil. It's a hot foil in copper color. And then I also have, I'm hiding it under here to flatten it out a little bit. I've got this, it's not quite a craft color. It's a little bit more kind of I guess like a yellow orange color to it than just plain craft color. But we can go ahead and just lay this on here, get that lined up where we want it. We'll turn on our electrostatic, and I'm just gonna leave it like that to get that held down, and then let's get our heat pen set up. Okay, so from here, we're gonna come over to our send panel. We're gonna go by line color. And then, let's see, did it find our heat pens? It's still connecting. So let's see, it's working on detecting our tool. There we go, our heat pen is detected. And then I'm gonna click this right here. And then now our heat pen is warming up. And that's exactly what we want it to do. And I'm gonna come over to, so it's heating, I'm gonna come over to our line color now that we have that heating up. And then what's red there, we're going to select that and we're gonna say, use tool 2. Oh, right here. Use tool 2 for that. And then you can see it's already done auto foil, but you're seeing that you have to modify your settings and set all that up. I'm not gonna go through that with you now. All of this is laid out in the heat foiling ebook. So grab that and it'll walk you through all of this. So all I'm going to do is, I already have a material set up. So I'm gonna come over to custom and I have this heat pen setting already set up. You can see there it's heating up. We're gonna foil that red right there. We're using our foil, so that's ready. And then for the outline, we're gonna do tool 1. We're gonna select that. I'm gonna stick with my normal cut settings that I enjoy. And then everything is set up and ready to go. So what I'm gonna do, I want it to do the foiling first, because then I can go ahead and cut things out. And then the other thing I want to do, let's go back to design, come back to our page setup. I'm using the electrostatic mat and my media is letter sized. And I forgot to set that up before, but that's how I like to work a little bit. And then I'm gonna foil, I have my rulers on. So if you need those rulers, you can come up to view and then Control+R or click right here and show rulers. And then I'm gonna grab all of this here. I'm just gonna group it together so nothing moves while we're getting things positioned on our page. And I'm gonna put things over here. And I'm just using my rulers here. I'm over at the 1 inch in, and then from the side, I'm at my 1 inch down. So I know that's where this is gonna cut. So then I can set up my foil in that area. So we have this set up here. Let's come back to our sun panel. Everything is still heating up, which is fine. We can go ahead and set up our heat foil on our mat. So I've got my heat foiling here, and I've got my little cheat sheets, and I can link the video below how I added some lines on here so I have a rough idea of where my 1x1 section is. So I'm roughly here is one, and then right here. So this is where I know it's going to start cutting. So I know that my heat foil needs to cover that area, but I also want it to start up a little higher and over a little bit to make sure that everything's going to get foiled where I want it. And I have the electricity on, so that'll help hold that in place. And we need, oh, what did we need? About 2-3 inches. So let's see, here's my 1 inch. So here's 2, here's 3, here's 4. So I'm gonna cut about right here. So I know I'm gonna have a lot of extra here, but that's okay. And didn't even cut a straight line. Again, totally okay. So that is set up. It holds pretty well if you've got your foiling starting off the mat. But you can see we're still on the cardstock and it doesn't hold so great through everything. So we're gonna go ahead and tape that down. The Silhouette heat pens, and also if you're using the foil quill, comes with some tape in the kit, but I'm just going to use some painter's tape. So this is just a low tack tape that'll hold everything in place while it's heat foiling. You can see it's moving a little bit there. That is the static trying to hold things in place. And you want this to be on here pretty well, meaning pulling it taut to try to get some of the wrinkles out. And let's see, I'm gonna just do this corner. Okay, so we've got everything set up. I'm just gonna go ahead and load this in. Oh, and you see how it took those corners? I don't really want it to do that. So really you're better off if you just tack down all 4 corners. You don't really have to tack down all the way around. Okay, that looks better. That shouldn't go anywhere. Load that in. Okay, so let's go back to our machine and see if things are ready. And we've got a kind of full thermometer here, which says the heat pen is ready. So we're good to go. I'm just gonna click off on the cut. Right now, all I want it to do is foil. We're gonna do that with tool 2. It's gonna foil all of that. This is probably gonna take a bit of time, but we've got everything set up here, and I am going to, let's make sure we've got it set up to do the right things there. Okay, that looks good, and I'm just gonna hit send, and then it's gonna go ahead and start foiling that name. And sometimes it kind of pauses and has to think about what it's gonna do before it goes in there and foils. So this is going to take quite a bit of time because those are very thin lines. So I will be back when it is done foiling. This may take a good 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, it is all done foiling. We can go ahead and unload. And that really only took about 2 or 3 minutes, I think, because our design is so small. You can see the name is on there really well, so I'm just gonna slowly peel back this tape. I don't want to ruin my cardstock. We'll get this all peeled off here, and then we can pick up our heat foil. The nice thing with the electrostatic mat is nothing else is moving while we're doing this. I'm not losing my place on the page or anything because it's going to load right back in the exact same place as long as I do not move my cardstock. So lots of advantages to the electrostatic mat. Okay, so there is our name. You can see some down here kind of rubbed, and that's probably from me pressing and touching, but there is our name on there. So we're gonna go ahead and load this back in, and I'm just gonna go ahead and pull this out. We're done with that. I'm let that cool off. That's gonna be hot. So now let's go back and we're gonna set things up. We're gonna click off of our heat foiling, and then we're gonna click on for it to cut the outline. We're using tool number 1 to do that. We've got our normal settings here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and hit send. And then it's gonna go ahead and cut out our outline of our leaf tag there. And then you can see off screen, I went ahead and grabbed us, this is like a orangey colored ribbon, and I think this will just look really pretty with what we're doing. So that's all cut out, and we can, it's hard to probably check because this one, but those corners are picking up nice. It's so far up at the top there, but we can go ahead and just lift this off. And then let's take a look at what we're working with here. I'm just gonna peel this out. So it looks a little dainty, but that's okay. It's a gift tag. And this wasn't quite the kind of ribbon I had in mind. I was thinking if I had some little string ribbon, but I don't. So this is gonna be a little bit big for this, but we can go ahead and just fold that and feed it through. So knowing that my string is so big, if I would have known that from the beginning, I would have made my tag a lot bigger to be proportioned with my string, or find a smaller string. But I think that will look good doing it up here. And then all I'm gonna do is tie this. I'm gonna get it lined up somewhat straight. I don't know why that's so hard for me to do. Okay. And then we're just gonna tie this in a knot. If you guys have any tricks for playing with ribbon, leave those down in the comments, because I don't really do a great job with it. One ribbon, 2 ribbons. Okay, I got them. All right, so there is our tag. Okay, here's a good close-up view of our really cute gift tag there. And I think that copper looks so lovely with this, what do you call it? Like a craft colored, and then with the orange ribbon to top it off. It's just beautiful. So there you have it. That is our final Falling for Crafts craft project. And then just a reminder, grab yourself a copy of the Silhouetter's Guide to Heat Foiling ebook here. This is really gonna make it easy for you to heat foil and give you some great ideas on different projects that you can use to heat foil. 33 pages of goodness here. And these are all written out beautifully, step by step, with photos of what we're doing. And then the back page is a supply list of all the supplies that I use and recommend for your heat foiling. So make sure you grab that. And that's what I have for you today. And then over here, I will leave a link to the rest of the series in case you missed any of those. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.